Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome back to the show. Thank you so much for being here. It's your co host, Kelsey Aida, and I am here as always with Lindsay Robinson. And we also have a very special guest today, Miss Meredith Boggs. And she is super awesome because, well, I'll tell you what we're going to get into in a second, but she's a writer, a speaker, a blogger, and she has lots of wisdom on lots of topics. And we're going to blend them all together today to give you guys the real behind the highlight reel.
Oh my God, that was incredible.
I love that.
Before
Thanks
I get
for having
into
me. I'm excited to be here.
Meredith, I'm going to give you an introduction in a second, like an opportunity to tell everyone what you do and what you're all about. But first, I kind of want to give the context of like what inspired our conversation today, because we know that you're a relationship expert. You teach a lot about marriage and creating better relationships. And also your whole thing is like, what's behind the highlight reel, like the other half of life that you don't show everybody. So today we want to get really vulnerable and share and just like make it okay to not compare yourself to people on social media and their perfect relationships and their perfect life, because that's only one half of the story. So Meredith, thank you for being here. Tell everyone a little bit about yourself.
Hi. Well, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here. I'm Meredith. I'm a born and raised Nashville girl, and I write and speak and blog, and it's something that I feel like I've always been a writer at heart. I just, especially in the last 5 years, I would say, become really passionate about kind of exposing this other half of life that doesn't make the highlight reel. I think with the onslaught of social media, it's almost really easy to curate lives for ourselves and to project to other people that we can even look at and we're like, wait, that's not my real life. But then we also at the same time fall into this trap of this mindless scroll, and we're looking at other people's lives, but we're only seeing one half of it. And so we think, oh, their marriage is perfect, they have the most beautiful home, or their kids are like all put together and they're never a mess. And it's like, no, you're only seeing the half that makes the highlight reel, and there's another half where it's like their marriage may be really broken, or they may be really struggling with some parenting issues, or you know, it's
best,
like maybe
here's the thing, like at best they're exactly like you.
yeah, they're just a normal person who probably works from home, not wearing makeup, wearing sweatpants every day. Like they've got laundry, they've got dishes, like their life is like yours. It's not glamorous, but it's still beautiful in its own unique way. Yes. So that's something that I've just become really passionate about exposing and talking about in the last few years. And I mean, I think that covers everything from work, from marriage to relationships, faith, kind of across the gamut. So yeah, that's just a little bit about me. Like I said, I live in Nashville with my husband. We are high school sweethearts, been married for 7 years.
Wow.
We are expecting our first baby next spring, so we are really excited. But yeah,
do you have a due? I'm sorry, don't say this if you don't want to, but do you have a due date?
Yes, it is March 16th.
My son is March 17th.
No way.
Oh my gosh.
I have no expectation that the baby will come on the 16th.
Right.
I actually had a dream last week.
None of mine ever did.
I hear that. I had a dream last week that the baby was born on March 30th, and I was like, dear God, please no, I can't.
That's a
2 weeks.
long time, girl. Because let me just say, both my first two were like 8 days and 11 days late, so it does happen.
Okay.
To me, it happens to me. So I don't know.
Okay, well, good to know. Hopefully, I won't go that far.
I love spring birthdays. Mine's in spring too. It's the best.
Yes.
Huh? Yeah, mine's on tax day though. It's like super awkward. My dad calls me his little tax deduction. Well, not anymore, but he did when I was a kid.
I love that.
And I mean, if you knew my dad, you would appreciate it because he's just that way, but he's so funny. So I also, and I have to touch on this just for a quick sec.
Yeah.
I saw in your bio that you're like in the medical field.
Yeah.
This is so so random. Please tell people what you do.
Yeah, so I'm a nurse by trade. I've been an RN for 8 years now. I have a background in critical care, ICU, and I work for transport now, so critical care transport across the state of Tennessee. And I love all of that, but probably the part about my job that I love the most is a couple years ago, there was a big push in the city of Nashville because we've had tremendous growth to bring more forensic nursing programs to the city to serve victims of sexual assault. So I helped build and launch a team at Vanderbilt where I work. So I'm a sexual assault nurse examiner, and I am just so passionate about that part of my work. I love it. I take calls, so it's not, I don't wake up every day and go do that. It's call based. But I just have really loved getting to serve that patient population in the city, and just really, I have so many dreams and ideas of like founding a nonprofit and doing all these things within the city and then nationwide to better serve those people. And yeah, it's just been a huge, I love the nursing side of my job. I've done it full time, and I've been writing and blogging and speaking full time. And I always joke with people, people are like, I don't know how you work that much, how you do that all. And when you work in the medical field, it's all shift work. So you go to work for 12 hours and you work 3 days a week, but then you've got 4 other days that you're not working.
Yeah.
And I always tell people that aren't in the medical field, I'm like, everyone that works in healthcare, they all have 2 jobs. They've got their full-time job, and then they've got like a side gig or something. And I was like, my side gig just happens to not be in the medical field. It's something totally different. But
yeah,
I love being able, like I worked a night shift last night, and I loved getting my hands in patient care, taking care of really sick patients. And then I get to wake up today, and my afternoon is spent finishing articles, recording podcasts, and that kind of stuff. So I feel like I really get to tap into both sides of my brain and do completely different skill sets.
Completely
really
different. And by the way,
yeah.
I know you have to be such a special soul to work and do the work that you do. So just thank you on behalf of any woman who ever needs your service. It's incredible. So thank you for that. I feel like I'm talking to a military person because I'm like so touched by what you do. We need you. Do you know what I mean? Like, we need you. So
I just, I am really passionate and really thankful to get to do the work that I do. So
yeah. Wow.
I hate that it's one of those things that we live in a world that we even have to have those programs, but it's like, man, we do. And so we've got to offer the best.
Let's step up. So. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Wow.
Multifaceted.
That's the thing. Like, they're so different. Those, as you said, the skill sets are completely different. And it's just amazing. Like how you can do it all. You really can.
I love it. It's funny. I'm very quick to tell people, which this is kind of another thing too. I'm very quick. People are like, I don't know how you do it all. And I'm like, first of all, I don't.
Right.
I love my work. And so that's what I do. But I pay someone to clean my house. I know. I mean, sometimes I feel bad admitting that because I'm like, it's just my husband. I don't really have, I don't have kids running around or anything yet. But, things like that. And then it's like, I used to cook a lot more. Now we order from a meal prep place. So I tell people, I'm like, I do not do it all. Trust me. Because you will hear interviews and you'll talk to people and they kind of wear this badge of honor of oh yeah, I do it all. And they say, oh, I'm super organized or something. And it's like, no, you don't. And it's okay to admit that you don't. It just makes other people feel, I think, less than and not good enough. So yeah.
I feel like if you scratch the surface, you'll realize very quickly that nobody could nobody could do it all. There's not enough hours in the day, right? Yes. There just isn't. I read this article once from Shonda Rhimes, who obviously is the queen of TV. I watch all of her shows and I love her. And she's like, I get this question all the time. How do I do it all? And she's like, I don't. I have writers. I have a team. If I'm writing an episode, I miss my kids' rehearsal. I can't be everywhere. And so take a little pressure off yourself because, no one can. Not even Shonda can do it all. Okay.
Well, and this ties into the whole highlight reel thing of just assuming that person's life is just only what you're seeing. And it's of course it's not. And I commend you for sticking to your genius and outsourcing the rest, because if more people did that, this world would function at such a higher capacity. If everyone wasn't trying to be good at everything and you just really honed in on what you were naturally good at and gifted at, this would be a totally different game that we'd be playing here.
Agreed.
Yep. And actually what the things that you do, they do go together, because it's reminding me of myself. If you zoom out, all of the work that you're doing is to help people heal or feel better. And it's just different ways of doing that, whether it's nursing or whether it's teaching about relationships or whatever. That's the same as me. I'm a cosmetologist by trade. I do hair 2 to 3 days a week. I work long shifts. And then the rest of the week I'm blogging, writing, hosting a retreat, whatever it is. And It's great.
Yeah.
I love it.
I love it. I love it how things that can seem totally different have a way of fitting together and really serving, really serving people in a unique way.
Yes. Let's dive into this highlight reel situation.
Yes.
Can you tell, maybe let's get vulnerable and we'll go around in a round table and kind of share.
Oh, Kelsey loves a round table.
I love a good round table. And we're going to share some of the things that people probably don't know are going on in our life, or something that we're not posting on social media that's happening, just to expose that like nobody's perfect, not even us.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're just going right in.
Do you want to start, Kels?
Yeah, I can start. Let's see. Honestly, lately I haven't been posting that much on social media just because I've been so busy, and I'm in the middle of a huge move, which is like taking a lot of time and space and energy. And so I'm not getting on Instagram as much to like drop awesome downloads or whatever I normally do on Instagram. So if you're like, what happened to Kelsey? I'm just living my real life over here. That's all that happened. But let's see. Like this morning, my boyfriend and I was like mad at him, but of course I'm not gonna like go on my story and be like, I'm mad at him, you know. But like in my mind, it doesn't make our relationship any less perfect. But if you go on my Instagram and you see pictures of them, you're probably like, they probably never fight, they're so happy. And it's like, we are so happy, but of course we have disagreements, of course we have ruffles, you know, like of course there's moments where we're annoyed with each other, like that's normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I'm going to jump on that one too. Like, I just had a disagreement with my husband today. It's
and it doesn't mean you love
it's like a weekly thing, but we are like best friends. You know what I mean? Like, and I explain it to my kids this way because they'll hear us like not agreeing about something, but we never yell, we never name call. Like those are big no-nos. Like we're not those people. We just don't do that. But my kids will be like, why are you and Daddy talking like that? I'm like, well, we're annoyed with each other. I'm like, do you love your brother? Yes. Do you get annoyed with him sometimes? Yes. Are you still going to love him after? Yes. I'm like, okay, we're family. We're going to get annoyed with each other. We're going to probably, like anytime I ever had a roommate, anytime I ever had to be in close quarters with somebody and like share habits or really have a spotlight on how they live and how I live, and maybe that's different. You have disagreements, you fight. Best friends. I had so many best friends. We'd have so many blow up fights in high school, you know, high school. And we would never going to talk to you again, you know? And then a week later, we'd be like best friends again. That's how relationships work. Unfortunately, in high school, they're super dramatic. But, you know, I just explain it to my kid, like, you know, you're going to get annoyed with each other. You're going to get annoyed with me sometimes, you know, but I still have to be your mom and you're still going to love me because I feed you. But, you know, that kind of thing. But yeah, we disagree probably like it's like a weekly thing, especially when it comes to like before I've had my coffee. I'm not going to lie. I'm not a morning person. So I'm going to probably be short and he's going to read me wrong and then it's going to be a thing. But we love each other so much and we always want the best and we always have each other's back and we always want to know the person better. And I think that is the key. And then the other thing is my house is always a mess. Always. It's just always a mess. There's always Legos somewhere. There's always food on the stove that I didn't wipe off. And I do sometimes pay someone to clean my house, but I can't justify it all the time. Like I just, I don't want to have to plan for someone to come in because you have to clean before you clean. I don't know if anyone knows this, but you have to like at least declutter before they get here. And so I'm just like, do I have time? If I had time to declutter, I wouldn't need to call you. But so sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Right now I'm not. And so my house is a mess. That's what people should know, which is why I don't always share pictures of my house. It's beautiful. It's just messy all the time. Anyway, you go, Meredith.
I love it. I would say something people probably don't know about recently. Well, so we did announce that I'm pregnant last week. And so I feel like that was something that I was like in the throes of the first trimester, was sick, tired all the time. And, you know, I mean, along with that too, it's like, you're all of a sudden raging hormones and I would just like lose my mind some days at my husband and I would know, I would like have this out of body experience. It's like, well, I need to calm down. This is really way too much right now. But whatever it was just like struck something in me. But then something else too, it's ironic. This went live on social media last week too, but my husband, he is like the quintessential entrepreneur and is always like every few years starting a new business. It's a new venture. And so since, oh gosh, I don't even know, time's running together, but we've been in like the hardcore startup phase for his new business, which just went live last week on Tuesday.
Wow.
And so that's another thing too, that it's like, there wasn't a lot to talk about on social media when it comes to that. And it's a medical house calls business, so it's not something like super sexy or cool to like talk about. But that was something too that we've lived the startup life before, and we kind of like we're back at square one, and he was working long days, and it was kind of like, you respond to emails and you take phone calls, and we've lived this rhythm enough now that we kind of know what this season looks like, which I'm really thankful for. Because I look back to like our first time around when he made a career change and went on his own, and like startup life the first time was just a disaster. And I'm very thankful for how we've grown and what we've learned and how he's grown, and just his knowledge of business and kind of living that startup life. But I think that's something else too, that even when you don't have, this time around, the financial stress has not been nearly as much, which we're really thankful for. But it's like, even when there's those pieces in place that make it not quite as stressful, any season of transition or launching is going to take a lot of time and energy, and put some constraints on your relationship. And so I think that's something else too, that in the last few weeks and months, that's not been on social media. And so really the only people that knew about it were the people that were kind of the ones that we live life with on a daily basis and talk about. So I mean, I would say that's kind of it.
That's the biggest one, I think. People fight, man. They just do. People are gonna fight.
Gosh. Yes. I mean,
and it's okay.
Yes, we would have fights about, how much he was working. And it was one of those things that it's like, why are we doing this again? We've done this before and it's not productive. But, it's just one of those things that it's like, we would fight about how much he's working. And then we'd fight about, finances 6 months from now. And then like when the baby comes, and it's like, oh my gosh. But
which is all coming from a good place. It all is. Oh, usually it's all
also
coming from a good place. It just gets distorted, and then you get defensive and things happen. And I love that you mention it as a season, because two things happen in my experience with people, and including myself. When you're fighting, or when you're having just like what they call a rough patch, you either lean too hard into it and assume it's going to be like this forever, and so why would I even try? Or you try to ignore it, right? And like pretend everything's fine and nothing's going wrong, rather than acknowledging this is a season that we're in, and let's just ride it out and do the best we can. And it will, it will come to an end at some point, and we'll just have to hang in there, hang in there, do the best you can, and remember, the love that you have. I love that. I like the word season. I think that more people need to acknowledge the season you're in. And that's business, that's personal, that's relationships, that's everything. You're always in a season.
Hey there, thanks for watching this video. If you'd like to watch the extended version where you get the full podcast episode in a video format, just go to patreon.com/highvibe. The link is in the description. That's where you can become a supporter of the show, listen to all the episodes via video format, and each week you get extended versions of the show, meaning you get to see the pregame behind the scenes, and also you get an extended interview with whoever we're guesting, or if it's me and Lindsay, we usually pull cards for you guys, fun stuff like that. So go check it out. There's lots of cool goodies, including a free copy of my book, a free audio hypnosis from Lindsay. She's a hypnotherapist. And we just want to give you all the goods, all the content. So head over to patreon.com/highvibe to become a Patreon.
Or if you'd rather listen to the rest of this episode, head over to highvibinit.com, where you'll see all the links to everywhere that it's getting streamed. Click your favorite one and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Thanks for listening.